Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into just one really compelling source. It's an allegory, a story that feels like a kind of psychological map for why we often end up undermining our own happiness. Our mission, really, is to unpack this whole cycle of comparison. Why looking outward, even at things that seem perfect, can actually almost inevitably lead to feeling miserable.
Right, and this story nails it right away. It talks about this vicious cycle of unhappiness that starts the moment we focus on what we don't have.
It starts starkly, doesn't it? With a crow.
A very unhappy crow, sitting in a tree, crying, feeling just awful.
Yeah, the source says he feels hated, shooed away, disgraced, believes death would be better. It really sets a bleak stage.
It captures that dark place comparison can take you, that feeling your life is just fundamentally wrong somehow.
That sense of failure, it's potent.
It really is. But then something shifts. A tear from the crow actually falls on a monk meditating below.
A single tear. And that leads to an intervention.
Yes. The monk, with great compassion, offers the crow a way out. A mantra to change him into anything he wants.
Anything. Wow, but there's a catch, right? A condition.
A crucial one. The monk is wise. He says essentially, okay, I can do this, but first you need to go find out if the thing you want is actually happy. He wants proof.
Due diligence for desire. Makes sense.
Exactly. And the crow. He knows immediately. He wants to be a swan.
Okay, so let's follow this journey. First up, the swan. This is what I'd call the trap of perceived perfection.
The crow looks at the swan, sees this beautiful creature as white as milk,
Graceful, admired.
and assumes, logically from his miserable standpoint, that the swan must be the happiest bird in the world. It's everything he thinks will fix him.
Hang on, if the crow becomes the swan, wouldn't that solve his problem? He feels ugly, shoot away, the swan is the opposite. What's the hidden downside the monk suspected?
Well, the twist is the swan isn't happy. Not at all.
Really? Why not?
Because of its color, or rather, its lack of it. The swan feels its whiteness is, well, nothing.
That's fascinating. The very thing the crow envies.
The swan dismisses. It looks around at all the vibrant colors in the world and feels its own purity is just bland, invisible almost.
Compared to everything else.
Exactly. It's comparing its own steady neutral state to this high saturation world and feels lacking.
You know, that connects directly to things we see today. People with stable, maybe quiet lives sometimes feel overlooked next to all the flashiness online.
Precisely. They're focused on the lack of external sparkle, maybe, instead of the peace of their own situation. The swan can't appreciate its own grace because it wants the parrot's colors.
Ah, so the swan points him onward.
Yes. It falls into the same trap. It tells the crow, go find the parrot. That's the truly happy bird, so colorful.
So the quest for peace through purity fails. Now it's about visibility, vibrancy. The crow's chasing a different kind of projection.
He flies off, convinced the parrot holds the key this time.
Okay, section 2. The parrot and the cost of visibility. The crow finds this incredibly colorful bird.
Sees that explosion of color and assumes, again, this must be it. This is happiness.
The parrot is visually stunning in the story. But this is where the downside of being noticed really comes in, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The parrot is beautiful, yes, but it's terrified.
Terrified. Why?
Because its beauty makes it a target. The very thing the crow now desires is the source of the parrot's misery, the constant threat of being captured.
Ah, the danger of being seen as valuable but as an object.
Exactly. The parrot says people keep parrots in cages. Its colors don't bring joy. They bring the risk of imprisonment. It lives in fear.
Yeah.
Always afraid that someone may hold me and lock me in a cage.
Wow. So the beauty attracts attention, but that attention leads to entrapment. High visibility equals loss of freedom.
A stark trade-off. The focus shifts from envying perceived perfection to envying maybe status or desirability, but missing the cost.
And yet the parrot still points elsewhere, even knowing the cost.
Isn't that telling? It can't break the cycle either. It looks at the peacock and says, he's even more colorful, he must be happier. The goalposts just keep moving.
Proving that external validation is just a treadmill.
An endless one.
So this raises the stakes. What happens when you reach the absolute peak of desirability? The most colorful. The crow has one last stop.
Which brings us to the peacock. Section 3, beauty as entrapment.
And the scene changes dramatically here. Where does the crow find the peacock?
He finds him in a zoo, in a cage. surrounded by crowds, hundreds of people who came just to look at him.
Oh, wow. So he achieved maximum desirability.
And is suffering precisely because of it.
The story really progresses here, doesn't it? From the crow's dissatisfaction to the swan's sort of existential boredom, the parrot's fear.
And now the peacock's reality, the gilded cage, imprisoned by fame, by beauty.
It's the ultimate irony.
Absolutely tragic.
Yep.
The peacock admits, I always thought I was the most beautiful, the happiest.
Yeah.
But the reality, entrapped in this zoo, specifically because of that beauty, it's a life sentence.
And the source adds a really visceral detail about the suffering, too, doesn't it? It's not just being looked at.
No, it's physical pain. People pluck my colorful feathers to make decorative things, he says, and it hurts a lot.
Oof. That's powerful. So aspiring to that level of status means aspiring to that pain, that loss of self.
You desire the pedestal, you inherit the suffering that comes with being the ultimate spectacle, the loss of autonomy. Your worth is literally being stripped away.
It's the cost of fame, distilled. Being the object of desire means you stop being, well, a free bird.
Precisely. And the crow, seeing this, seeing the actual result of ultimate beauty, he's shocked, genuinely shocked.
And that shock finally breaks the pattern, right? He stops projecting.
Yes, he asks the crucial question, the turning point. If you aren't happy, then who is the happiest bird in the world? He's finally seeking truth.
And the answer comes from inside the cage, from the peak of visibility.
The peacock delivers the key insight. Having been trapped, watching, he finally gained real perspective.
What did he realize?
He tells the crow something profound. After looking around the zoo, he realized the crow is the only bird there that isn't in a cage.
Because nobody wants to catch him. Nobody values him in that way.
Exactly. His ordinariness, the very thing that caused his initial despair,
Was actually his greatest protection. His freedom.
his lack of those highly prized features, was his superpower, guaranteeing his liberty. The peacock sees this clearly now.
And what does the peacock wish for?
He says, if I were a crow, I could happily roam everywhere. I could be free. He desires the crow's ignored existence.
Oh, wow. The whole narrative flips.
Completely. The revelation is total.
So the crow flies back to the monk, but he's different now.
Fundamentally changed. He's seen the flaws in all his aspirations. The source says for the first time, the crow was happy to be a crow.
He doesn't need the mantra anymore.
He refuses the change, just says, I'm fine as I am. The journey wasn't about changing his form, it was about changing his perception.
So let's bring this together. What's the core message, the takeaway for us navigating our own comparisons today?
Well, the monk's final wisdom, effectively, is two things. First, recognize and stop these unnecessary comparisons. Stop cursing ourselves over what we lack. It's a self-inflicted cycle.
Right. We create that unhappiness.
And second, the solution is internal. Learn to be happy with what you have instead of looking at what you don't have.
Because as the swan, parrot, and peacock all showed,
There will always be someone who has more or less than you do. It's unwinnable if you define happiness externally. Contentment keeps shifting.
So the definition of happiness in the story is purely internal.
Exactly. The source concludes, a person who is satisfied with what they have is the happiest person in the world. Satisfaction isn't about reaching some peak. It's about accepting where you are.
Acceptance is the antidote. If you choose satisfaction, you win. Choose comparison.
You're guaranteed to be the saddest. The crow learned that being overlooked was his strength.
His superpower, as you said.
It's a potent reminder, isn't it? What you might see as your flaws, your ordinary life, your lack of spotlight, that might be the very thing protecting you.
Protecting your freedom, your autonomy, keeping you out of a cage, literal or metaphorical.
The crow's greatest gifts were being ignored and being free.
Absolutely. And that leaves us with something to think about until our next deep dive. A question for you, the listener. What unrecognized quality, what ordinary part of your life might actually be protecting you right now? Protecting you from some kind of suffering or entrapment precisely because the world doesn't value it or even notice it.
Find that hidden blessing in your own ordinariness.
Something to mull over. We'll see you next time.